Tonight on Huckabee, 1 in 110 children in America is born with autism.
This was not the life I had pictured.
Emily and Chuck Colson on overcoming the challenges of raising a child with autism and uncovering their capabilities.
We so underestimate what these people understand.
And
I have a little Napoleon syndrome.
she's small in stature, but the biggest losers, Jillian Michaels, is big on motivation.
If you don't believe in your ability to achieve the goal, you're not going to.
Plus, Oscar and Grammy Award-winning songwriter Paul Williams with the stories behind some of his timeless classics.
Just an old-fashioned love song playing on the radio.
Good evening from Little Rock, Arkansas this Labor Day weekend. Well, have you missed us? Breaking news from Libya and Hurricane Irene have preempted our show for a couple of weeks, but we are so glad to be back with you and we appreciate your patience. Believe me, we miss not bringing our show to you every week. Well, of course, this is a holiday weekend, and while we hope that you enjoy all the never-seen-before segments tonight, I hope you'll also enjoy a little time off with your friends and family so you can observe what Labor Day represents. Now, with some of the highest unemployment rates in our lifetime that continue to linger, it's not lost on most of us that one of God's great gifts is a job that not only puts food on our table and clothes on our back, but a job that gives us the dignity of work. Henry Ward Beecher once said that the greatest reward from work isn't what we get from it, but it's what we become because of it. I've held a job to support myself since the age of 14. Hard work is what made it possible for me to have a college education, raise a family, enjoy and own a home, and even be able to enjoy things that I never dreamed were possible. And the worst days of my own life, well, those were the days when I had lost a job and wasn't sure how I would possibly feed my family and pay my bills. That's a fear that's unfortunately known by almost 16 million Americans right now. So if you have a job, get on your knees and thank God for the good feeling of being tired from it. If you don't have a job, you have my prayers that our economy is soon going to turn around and that you'll find meaningful work. Labor is not our burden. Labor is our blessing. And I do hope that what you do brings you some joy. Well, that's my view, and I welcome yours. You can contact me at MikeHuckabee.com and share your thoughts on the Fox News feedback link. Well, Israel is our most important ally in the Middle East and one of our closest friends around the world. But what would be the consequence if our long-time relationship with Israel were to change? I recently asked Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in an exclusive interview.
Well, you know, all countries need alliances. Even superpowers like the United States need alliances. And we have a very strong one here. I mean, you sort of think what you'd have to do in the Middle East when you don't have Israel and Israel. In parts of the Middle East you don't have an Israel, and you've deployed your own troops and spent a lot of blood and treasure. So all countries need alliances. The United States needs alliances, but a small country like Israel definitely needs alliances. So I don't want to in any way minimize the importance of this partnership. I think it's hugely important, certainly important for us. American support is tremendously appreciated here. This is one country where you give American support, and the people are absolutely grateful. You know, they value this, they prize the friendship with America. I don't think not only in the sense of you know, being grateful, being, you know, appreciative of help that is given, that's clear, but in a deeper sense there's an identification with America. And in many ways I often say, you know, America starts here.
I'm not sure that there's another prime minister in the world who has a better understanding of the United States. You even had a significant part of education in the U.S., graduated from high school there in Pennsylvania. Looking over the course of time.
I did the whole thing. I did the SATs, the achievement test. You know.
And it's turned out pretty well for you, I would say.
Well, it was a grueling time because I took my studies seriously. You know.
But what is the biggest change you have observed? Because you've seen it firsthand, unlike so many other world leaders, who've seen it from a distance, but you've actually lived it, seen it in a way that few have. Is there something about the United States that you've seen dramatically different over the years?
There are changes, obviously. The United States is an open, dynamic country. It's a land of immigration, which is probably one of its great strengths. And, you know, it's attracted very talented people, people of enterprise, people who wanted freedom. And there's a spirit, the spirit of enterprise and the spirit of achievement, which I think marks the United States and still does. It has great problems. You know, the East is rising, but I wouldn't write off America. There are going to be these two great centers. The United States on one side, and of course Asia on the other side. And I really don't worry about the world in that sense. I think people write the United States off, and they're wrong. I think this is a great civilization. And I think China is coming up along with India and other countries, and these are great civilizations too. They will honor if you will, the rules of competition, economic competition, political competition. It'll be a changed world, but it'll be not necessarily an unsafe one. I'm not sure it'll be less unsafe than it was in the Cold War. We don't have to go back and have nostalgia for the Cold War. That was another bipolar world. I'm not worried about that. But I worry that between East and West is this radical growth of militant Islam that honors no rules, that is willing to, you know, kill people with happy abandon. You know, just bomb people, bomb the innocent, and even do so with complete disregard for the survival of their own people. I haven't seen many Soviet suicide bombers. I mean, the Soviet Union had its problems, right? I was no fan of the Soviet Union, but I don't remember Soviet suicide bombers. And when the Soviets had to decide, you know, to choose between their ideology, between their zealotry and their survival, they always chose their survival. They were very clear on that score. You can't be sure with militant Islam. So to me, the greatest danger facing the world is not this change in the world, not the changes within America, not the changes in Asia. I think the world is generally moving in a better direction. Greater freedom, greater enterprise, greater information. But in between East and West, something of great danger is developing. And if militant Islam gets nuclear weapons, or nuclear weapons get a militant Islamic regime, the first is called Iran and the second is called Pakistan, then I think we will all be in great peril. And I think this is the great challenge of our time. I'm confident that if we maintain our partnership, then we'll overcome this challenge as we've overcome other challenges.
Mr. Prime Minister, thank you very much, and I hope you can always count on the United States and its people for the support of Israel.
Well, I very much appreciate that, and more importantly, every person in Israel appreciates that all the time.
Thank you. It's been an honor.
Thank you, Mike.
1 in every 110 children born in America is diagnosed with autism. The figures are stunning, and yet there is so much about autism that we just don't know. Coming up, Chuck Colson and his daughter Emily share the remarkable story of Emily's son Max. And what they've discovered is something that every family needs to hear, whether you have an autistic child or not.